podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. The show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, December 18th, 2021. This is episode 1853. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is supported by AT&T Active Armor. You spent the day staring at your phone, waiting for that one call from the job, the hospital, the family, and it finally rings. And guess who it is? A robot. Don't let fraud calls disappoint you. AT&T makes your security a top priority, helping block fraud calls with AT&T Active Armor. It's not complicated. AT&T Active Armor, 24/7 proactive network security, fraud call blocking, and spam notifications to help stop threats at no extra charge. Compatible device and service required. Visit att.com/activearmor for details. And by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Join over 1 million people who've taken charge of their mental health. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/techguy. And by userway.org. Userway ensures your website is accessible, ADA compliant, and helps your business avoid accessibility-related lawsuits. The perfect way to showcase your brand's commitment to millions of people with disabilities. It's not only the right thing to do, it's also the law. Go to userway.org/twit for 30% off Userway's AI-powered accessibility solution. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, cord cutting, cars, the tech in automotive vehicles, that kind of thing. Anything with a chip in it. Your microwave oven, sure, why not if it's got a chip in it. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. That's number to call if you want to talk high tech with me. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still reach me, but you've got to use Skype or some sort of doohickey like that to call. 8888 Ask Leo. Website, techguylabs.com. Going to be a change coming to the website. The big change is that it's going to still be techguylabs.com, but the software it runs on, which is a very popular, what they call a CMS, a content management system. You know, WordPress is a content management system. Blogger is. There are ways that you can put, your stuff on the website. In our case, the show notes on a website. But Drupal has made some big changes, and we had not kept up. And now all of a sudden, Drupal's saying it's not going to be secure if you don't keep up. By the way, does that sound familiar? That's the story of the world, isn't it? It's not going to be secure if you don't keep up. So we investigated how expensive it would be to take the website into the 21st century, and it was a significant amount of money. A number I heard, didn't want to hear, kind of pretended I didn't hear it, but it's still stuck in my brain, $250,000. So here's what we're going to do. Still going to have techguylabs.com, but we're going to fold it into, and we're going to have to upgrade this site as well. We're going to fold it into the podcast site, twit.tv. Now, this won't change things for you. Essentially, you still go to Tech Guy Labs. It'll still take you to the latest episode. But it means that, I'm sorry to say, the show notes won't have quite as rich an experience. We had a pick of the week and product of the week and all that stuff, and we're not just going to have to leave that behind. But at least the most important part, which is the links, the things I mentioned to, those will make it to the show notes. So I just want to let you know it's going to look a little different. It also means, and I'm very sad to say this, a farewell to our loyal scribe of how many years? It's been years, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. How long have you been doing this, James? Our loyal scribe, James DeRuvo, will be moving on because it's now an internal site, and so not really can't work the same way it did the old site. So I'm sorry to say shouldn't change the site too significantly, but I just want to let you know. TechGuyLabs.com, and a hearty thank you over the years to James DeRufo, who's done such a good job in writing everything down. I appreciate it. We'll do this all internally, which means our editors will be doing that, and Micah Sargent, Tech Guy 2, will also be very much involved in that. Micah also is not here because of Omicron. Micah does the show in studio with me on a Saturday, and he has been doing that for the last few weeks, months maybe. But because of Omicron, we've gone back into lockdown, which means no people in my room. I'm all alone once again in my little room. So, but we'll get Micah back in as soon as I know as soon as the pandemic's over. Sorry, that sounds like that might be a long time, doesn't it? Yeah, one of these days the pandemic will be over, and then everything will go back to normal. Ay. So, a couple of just little changes, just to let you know. Of course, the world is still reeling, I tells you, from this exploit. They call it Log4Shell. Let me see how I can explain this to people who aren't like web workers. For those of you who run servers of any kind, you're probably familiar with a Java program called Log4j. Servers, people who run, public computers, like to keep something called logs, which is just, like the, captain's log, stardate 5455.3. It's a log, like the captain's log of what's gone on. It's automated in almost every case. It is in every case because, everybody who visits your website puts multiple entries into your log. And so it obviously has to be automated. As a result, almost everybody who runs servers of any kind, it doesn't just websites, but of any kind, has to run a logging program. And the most popular logging program is a little Java program called Log4j, J being JavaScript. Log4j has been out for a few years. Has a little bit of a bug. Maybe you've heard about it. Publicly disclosed on the 9th. So, it's been 9 days now. That was a bad weekend, by the way, last weekend for a lot of people who run Log4j shells. It was such a bad exploit. It was such a bad vulnerability that you could literally go to a website that was running this thing and trigger it. Not just a website. It would be easy to trigger with just a short little bit of text, and boom, what do you get? Oh, fun. You get absolute access to that server. You can get in, you can look around, you can search for things, you can plant stuff there. It's basically a nightmare. People are calling this the worst software vulnerability in a decade. I think it's the worst ever. And you've heard us talk, many times about security flaws. This is the worst ever because it affects so many machines, and those machines in turn impact all of us. So the Log4Shell exploit has been a problem on every continent, in every server, Amazon, Apple, Google, everybody has had to rush to fix this. Now, the good news is the software has been fixed. It was fixed quite quickly. Volunteers, by the way, not paid people, work on that software, Log4j. So they all fixed it really quick, like in a couple of days. But that doesn't mean, of course, that the problem's gone away, because there's a couple of things. First of all, people aren't great at applying these fixes, these patches. You've heard me say that, by the way. You know, when the patch comes out, fix it. In this case, it's what they call a 0-day. They discovered it because people were using it, including, by the way, the Chinese government, hackers for the Chinese government, many nation states, and of course, just, run-of-the-mill bad guys, all taking advantage of this because it was so easy. It was just it was easy. It was almost like I was tempted. I didn't, because it would be wrong and against the law, but literally it was that easy. that you could just, boom, just do it. Just do it. So everybody's got to fix this. They're fixing it like crazy. They're working like crazy, but so many sites affected. And maybe you've noticed, I have, kind of internet was a little wonky this week. Like a little just, like not responsive sometimes. Servers were slow to respond. Things were going on. It seemed like things were kind of a little shaky. Maybe did you notice that? Maybe you didn't. Maybe I'm hypersensitive, but it definitely was going on because people were, rapidly kind of fix this. We got to fix this. It's a problem. So anyway, here's the good news. I think it's been fixed, but the bad news is there's still plenty of bad websites out there who could cause you problems. So just be patient with your friendly local server administrator. They've been having a terrible, terrible, no good, very bad week. And just so you know, what does it mean for you and me? It's hard to say. But here's the nightmare scenario, which is probably occurring. Website you and I visit a lot. What's your favorite website? Runs a server, runs log4j. Almost all of them do. Didn't patch it in time. This is the second thing. Maybe they patched it a day later. But meanwhile, before they fixed the problem, bad guy got in. Doesn't matter if you close the barn door after the bad guy gets in. He's inside the house. So the bad guy got in your favorite website and is messing around with it. What can he do? Lots of stuff, including put stuff on that website that when you go to visit it, attacks you. What do you do about this? Well, if you're not running Log4j, and those of you who are, you know who you are. Minecraft runs it. I had 5 Minecraft servers running. I was like, oh my gosh, gotta fix this. So if you're not going to get impacted by the initial Log4j problem, but if the websites you visit, and chances are good, many sites that people visit are actually now infected, they may have stuff on there that attacks you. What's the best solution for that? You keep yourself up to date. This is why we say don't use Windows XP anymore. It's not being kept up to date. Make sure you're using an up-to-date operating system, up-to-date browsers, and that you've checked and made sure they're up to date because they fix the problems that would let the bad guys who are on those websites get into your computer. Not Log4j. That's how they got into the website's computer. Now you've got to protect yourself against whatever they put on there. And fortunately, there's nothing on our computers that is comparable, at least nothing no one's discovered yet. Nothing anyone has discovered yet. But, that's why we patch. Patch. Always be patching. Always be fixing. Anything that goes online, anything on your computer, make sure it's up to date. All right, let's take a tiny time out. We're going to get the phones a-hopping and to get our masked Avenger, Kim Schaffer, the phone angel. We're going to get her. Yes, we're all wearing masks again. Isn't that nice? She's our very own Electric Light Orchestra. She plays all the instruments, including the telephone instrument. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Kim Schaffer, our phone angel. Hello, Kim.
Good weekend before Christmas.
What?
I know. How is this possible?
Wait a minute. Christmas is next Saturday.
Yeah, it's impossible. This whole year flew
by.
And yet didn't move at a snail's pace all at the same time.
I'm going to give you the weekend off.
You're giving me a weekend and a day.
And January 1st, I guess you shouldn't come in then either.
No, well, you wouldn't want me here that day either.
No.
I can promise you that.
Yes. Merry Christmas, Tiny Tim. And then, unfortunately, Professor Laura does have to come in because there will be a show. It just will be reconstituted from freeze-dried parts and put back together again. And so Professor Laura's got to run now, but so I'm sorry, Laura, that you have to work on.
No, the hangover will have worn off by then.
Yeah. And we'll be back with live show. I'm going to be here this weekend. This is real this weekend. And then January 2nd, we resume our regularly scheduled programming. Yeah. So I feel bad. I should answer as many calls as I can today, don't you think?
Yeah, you should. And if you need a gadget before Christmas, today might be the day to call. But you're not going to get it because there's supply chain issues. So.
Yeah, if the gadget doesn't have anything in it, it's just like a Happy Meal from McDonald's. Okay, maybe. Actually, maybe they're in short supply too. Who knows?
Yeah, probably.
Who should I start with?
Let's go with Kevin in Spokane.
Hello, Kevin in Spokane. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Leo, good day, sir.
Hello, sir.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Happy holidays. How are you?
First caller on your last day of the show. I'm honored. So
No, tomorrow I'll be here too. But you're still the first caller, so that's all that matters.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. I finally got my COVID ducks in a row so I can travel overseas.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
happy about that. Going to see some folks in Thailand.
Are you allowed in?
Yeah, they're open to tourists.
Nice. Oh, Thailand's supposed to be amazing. We were supposed to go to Thailand next month, but that whole thing was canceled. So I'm glad you can still go. That's good.
After all of the non-tourist year, all the tourist spots have been renewed.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great.
This is actually a good thing once in a while. So you go to the islands to surf?
Go to the islands. And the beaches,
nice.
And they're all pristine, and the coral reefs are restored.
Hallelujah. See,
yeah.
Wasn't all bad.
So when I get there, of course, I'm going to get my local SIM card.
Yeah.
But then I got to thinking, what does that do to my two-factor authentication?
Well, it changes your phone number when you put a new SIM in. So you won't get those. It won't affect things like the Google Authenticator. That'll still work. But it will affect any text message authentications. You won't get them.
That's my main source of authentication.
Yeah, you won't get them. Now, there's certainly ways to do this. Once you get the new SIM, you can, before you put it in, you'll know the phone number, the Thai phone number. You can forward. Can you forward text messages? Depends on what you're using. On an iPhone, you'd have to. You'll still get them because it'll come through Apple's messages. On an Android device, if you're using Google's Android Messenger, you can get it by tying it to your account. So these days, I think maybe a little bit better than it used to be. Generally, nowadays what I tell people is not to get a new SIM because of this phone number change, but instead get a carrier that will still give you connectivity. I use Google Fi when I travel, and it's the same price all over the world, including Thailand.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm on Verizon. Well, I'm actually on Straight Talk using Verizon.
Yeah.
But
so you need a new SIM because Straight Talk probably is not going to give you connectivity at all as you travel overseas. A lot of times these MVNOs, Verizon Simple would, but for a fee. But the MVNOs, they only U.S. only usually. So check your contract on that.
Right. So I'm assuming it's not going to work.
If you forward it, it'll work. Ideally, well, the problem with forwarding is you need a phone on the old number to be sitting there forwarding. I don't know if the carrier. I wonder if the carrier, for security reasons, but they probably shouldn't. They might do it anyway. Should forward to a foreign number. That seems to me like a recipe for disaster. That's the phrase that comes to mind. Because what if somebody from Russia hijacked your SIM, and suddenly all your messages are going to a Russian number? That's probably something the phone company says they frown upon. So you're going to be an interesting conundrum there. That's a really good question. You've not done this since you started to rely on these text messages for authentication, huh?
No. Yeah, my last trip was pre-cell phone, in fact, so,
Yeah. Oh, you're going to have so much fun. Oh, I'm so jealous. I don't know. Let's put this out to the vast audience. What do the carriers do if you suddenly on a Thai phone number? I'm going to bet they block them. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That's a question I hadn't considered. So you're going to be putting in that SIM. That's going to give you a Thai phone number. It's Straight Talk, so you wouldn't be able to anyway get any text messages from Straight Talk in Thailand.
Yeah, I just assume that this has happened to someone sometime before.
Yeah, and I'm hoping they're listening. This is why, in general, anyway, not why, but it's in general why you want to use Google Authenticator or Authy or something that is on your phone only, because then it's not a text message, which makes it harder to hijack. In effect, you're doing what a hijacker would do, which is you're using a foreign SIM, a non-related SIM, and you're saying, and by the way, just send those authentication messages to me from now on. And that's exactly what a bad guy would do, which is why I'm hoping, actually, that Straight Talk goes, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Of course, given the state of security in general, probably they won't, but they shouldn't, because why don't you call them, actually, and ask them? Because I don't know how good their service is, but you might be able to say to them, once you're in Thailand, here's my new number, 0183-9497394111C2CC /I, and then please have my text messages forwarded to that number. They can do carrier forwarding. They might. That's going to be.
Have to call them from over there.
Yeah, because you won't know your number till you get the SIM, right? Yeah.
Well, so are you saying then I should switch to Google Authenticator?
If any service that you can do, because that will work.
Yeah, do it now.
Do it now. Any service that you can switch away. The problem is, unfortunately, banks especially seem tied to this very insecure method of authentication called SMS text messaging. It's not a good, and you can see right here why it's not. Because if you change phone number and change country and can get text messages, that's a problem.
Some of them, they offer the alternative of either your phone number or
anyone who lets you do that. And now people are, because they're realizing how insecure that is. Anybody who lets you do that now. And that will continue to work no matter where you are.
Switch to email?
Email will also work. Best one, though, is Authenticator. Actually, I use Authy, but it's the same thing, AUTHY. It's a free app. But the thing is, that's all done on phone. So it doesn't matter where you are. As long as it's your phone, it'll continue to work.
Right. And that was kind of a general question. How does information find you when you do that? You switch SIM cards. In general.
Well, that's a good... So web-wise, you're just giving them a new IP address. Not a big deal. With things like Authenticator, it's not on the internet. It is off. It is completely just in your phone. It's doing a calculation. The problem is exactly what you just highlighted, which is text messaging, which is not over the internet. It's not IP based. If you were using, WhatsApp, you could just say, oh yeah, this, I'm going to keep using WhatsApp, and that's over the internet. So it doesn't care what your phone number is. I mean, actually WhatsApp does, but technically it doesn't need to. And you could change your phone number. So that's the problem with this SMS-based messaging. It is tied to your phone number, and it doesn't even use the internet. It uses its own back end.
Okay. So I need to get off of that.
That will solve a lot of problems. And your bank is the first one to look at, because it's been my experience, banks really, because I think they think their users are dumb. They don't want to just keep using text messaging. They don't want the tech support calls. So, but if anywhere that lets you use an authenticator program, Google Authenticator, Authy, whatever, shift that over. Those will no longer be an issue. It's only the ones that want SMS text messaging, and I think you're going to have a problem with that, actually.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Have a great trip. How long are you going to be there?
A week. Be back next year.
Too short, but have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
You too.
It's going to be beautiful. I'm so jealous. The Tech Guy Podcast brought to you this week and often by AT&T Active Armor. You spent the day staring at your phone, right? Waiting for that one call from the job, the hospital, the family. Finally, it rings, and what? Guess what? Your auto warranty is running out. I did it last week. You've been approved for financial aid. Oh, thank you. It's a robot. Nice. Just what I want to talk to. It's nice. I didn't have to answer that call. I got the text message, but I didn't have to answer that call because I have AT&T Active Armor. Don't let fraud calls disappoint you. AT&T makes your security a top priority, helping block fraud calls with AT&T Active Armor. It's kind of fun when you look at those text messages and go, oh, I didn't have to answer that. AT&T Active Armor, it's not complicated. 24/7 proactive network security, fraud call blocking, and spam notifications to help stop threats at no extra charge. You got to get this. Compatible device and service required. Visit att.com/activearmor for details. Thank you, AT&T. Now back to the tech guy. He's our tuba Christmas guy, Mr. Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek. Scott, I watched you in your driveway, or your friend's driveway.
My friend's driveway. You watched the show. That's
it was
great.
beautiful. You know, when you say tubas and Christmas carols, you think, well, that sounds lugubrious. But it wasn't. It was felicitous. It was wonderful.
Felicitous. Yes, it's glorious.
Well, there's something, it turns out, first of all, you've got a variety of tubas. You've got the sopranos and the bass. So you got
the small ones and the big ones. Yeah.
So you got some, it's not like all, but there's a smoothness to the tuba.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes. And I have to tell you, the players that we had on that show are some of the best in the world.
Oh, I believe that. It was harmonious.
Very harmonious. The intonation was beautiful. The ensemble was beautiful. I was honored to play with them. I mean,
so
any clams you heard were probably me.
Is that what they call them when you play a bad note in the
when you play a bad note,
in tuba world? It's a clam.
Yeah, well, in the music world. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So this was on a podcast. So correct. I'm on a YouTube show. So I presume you can still watch it.
You can.
So
you go. Basically you can go to 2021.tubachristmasla.com and it'll redirect you to that page.
So this was because here in LA you couldn't do the Tuba Christmas this year.
We couldn't do real Tuba Christmas. The indoor venue that I normally use would let me be in there, but they had so many restrictions. And everybody had to be vaccinated and masked, and I really didn't want to be the vaccine police.
No. So, and I should mention, Tuba Christmas is a national event all over the country. There's different concerts, and many of those are still going on. So if you want to go to a local one, go to tubachristmas.com, and they'll have listings locally.
Of where it is, right. And the only ones that are happening now are outdoors, of course.
That's right. But the folks at Conical Supremacy decided to make a Christmas tuba extravaganza. It's a great, great thing. You must listen. An hour of fabulous tuba music.
Fabulous tuba music. Really great.
Yeah. So Scott joins us every week to talk tubas. It's our new segment on the Tech Guy Show.
Our new segment. That's
Tech Guy Tuba. No, he joins us.
Tech Guy Tuba.
It would actually. No, it's not.
No.
It is. There are no chips in tubas. Are there electronic tubas?
No, there are electronic valve instruments and electronic woodwind, like saxophone.
Like you could, they're MIDI clarinets you can play, or MIDI saxophones you can play.
And they're even MIDI trumpets you can play, valved instruments. And you could play a tuba sound on that just as well as anything else.
Do you still need the embouchure?
No, you don't. You just blow into it.
So it's really just a keyboard fashioned to look like a clarinet.
Correct. Yeah. That is exactly right.
Okay. Okay. It's kind of cheating.
So we could talk about that at some point. But
that's interesting. But let's instead, the other reason you're here, your second, I don't know if it's your vocation, your avocation. He's a home theater geek, contributor at techhive.com and elsewhere, and joins us every week to talk big screen TVs and surround sound.
Big screen TVs, yep.
What's the latest? By the way, you're going to CES in a couple of weeks.
Actually, I'm not.
Oh, you decided not to.
I decided not to for a couple of reasons. I'll tell you.
Wise man. But we will. No, honestly, I think with Omicron, you'd be pretty much guaranteed to get it, vaccinated or not. Let's not.
Yep. Let's not. And it's an international show. People from all over the world are going to be there.
Nice. Yeah. Normally that's a wonderful thing.
Normally it is. That's right. And I've heard now, I've talked to a bunch of people, some of whom are going, but I've been told that a lot of journalists are not going. Yeah. So we're going to get a lot of coverage from afar.
Deja vu all over again. This is what happened last year. Mm-hmm. We did have CES in 2020 because it was a couple of months before the beginning.
That's right, January, and I was there.
I was too. We were lucky because COVID was also there, but wasn't widespread.
That's right.
Okay, but the reason I mention that is because you have said, and you cannot speak of it,
Not yet.
There will be a new TV technology announced January 5th.
There will be, and I will talk about it the next show that I'm on after that.
So that means, I guess, the 8th, January 8th show. We'll talk about it. Okay.
Correct.
So just a little, put a pin in that one, because first of all, you don't get new TV technologies very often. I mean, the last one,
no, you don't.
Micro LED still hasn't even come out yet.
Well, it is out, but it's very expensive.
Yeah.
You know, it's tremendously expensive. This technology that I will talk about next year is going to be expensive at first, of course. All new technologies are. But as you know, with digital technology, with volume comes a price reduction.
So it'll be something to watch for.
It'll be something to watch for.
Is it going to be, I don't want to push you because I know you have a non-disclosure agreement. Is it going to be,
That's right.
So just say no. Is it going to be transformational? Is it going to be that important?
It is going to be that important.
Okay.
I think it's going to be really important.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's so rare. No, really. These days in the tech world that there's anything transformational to announce because it's all incremental improvements. So
I mean, it's still TV, you know, it's still a flat panel that you're going to put in your, so
I would hope so. Can I hang it on my wall? I would hope so.
Yeah,
Okay.
You can. It's going to be a flat panel TV, but it's a new technology that's going to offer many big advantages over what we have now. And what we have now is so fantastic.
Yes. Oh, man. When I watch some of the stuff that's on in 4K UHD with HDR, high dynamic range, it's like you're sitting there. It's like you're in the room with these things.
That's
it's amazing.
Right. And to tell you the truth, what I consider, I was going to mention what I sort of think is the big TV news of 2021.
What's that?
8K.
Yeah.
Now, you know, we have 4K now, right, which is very common. You almost can't buy a TV that's not 4K. But 8K, which is 4 times the number of pixels as 4K, is coming on strong. And the reason I mention it is that TCL just announced that they are offering a free 3-month trial subscription to a service called it's called The Explorers, and it offers 8K content, streaming 8K content, basically shot around the world. So it's nature photography.
This is what we saw when 4K came out. There was the initial, and even HD. I remember Mark Cuban, because there was no HD content, created an HD channel.
Yep.
Mostly bikinis.
Well, this is not going to be that.
No, but the nature's better, frankly.
Nature is better, yeah. And it's being contributed to by people all over the world.
Nice.
And, you know, again, because there's so little 8K content, there is some on YouTube, there is some on Vimeo, but it's hard to find, and it's, you know, you don't know really where it's at. But this is going to be the first one. It's going to be available to anybody on Roku, although not in 8K, because there are no 8K Roku boxes yet. They should happen sooner or later, probably.
So this
sooner.
this TCL TV has a form of Roku that's actually not available otherwise.
Correct.
Interesting.
Correct.
Now TCL pulled some of their Google Android TVs off the market last week. And the speculation.
You know what? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they were only being sold in Best Buy. They were, I think, 5 and 6 series. They pulled them out, and everybody said, "Well, maybe there's something wrong with Android." But I think that the smart money is the deal with Amazon. Nobody's admitting that TCL is building Amazon's TVs.
Correct.
But I think that
that's what it is.
That's what it is. So I think probably they have Amazon said, "You're going to put our Fire Stick in your TVs, and you are not going to put our arch rival Google's Android TV in your TVs."
I would bet money on that.
I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
So CES not canceled. You're not going. That's all it takes for me. Ant wanted to go. I said, let me think about it. No, he's not going either because it's just not right. Not the right time.
No, not
But the
the
good
right
news
time.
is that we have great TVs and surround sound systems to watch things at home safely. Scott Wilkinson, it's thanks to you, Home Theater Geek. It really is. I mean, I'm not incented to go to the movie theater anymore.
I'm not either, to tell you the truth. I did go to see Dune.
Yeah.
You know, I just felt I had to, but I didn't go to see any of the other blockbusters.
I kind of wish I'd seen Dune now, because I don't think it's going to be
probably not in the theaters anymore. I mean, that one is a spectacle. It really deserves a giant screen.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch The Matrix at home when it comes out later this month.
Me too.
I am. So,
what a world! What a world!
What a world!
I'm sorry you're not going to get to go to CES. That's
I am
really
too.
Too bad.
Yeah. Well,
but I think you're wise. I mean, I think it's really clear at this point, because of the nature of Omicron. I got my booster Thursday, but I just feel like even with the booster, Omicron is so contagious. I just don't want to risk it.
And apparently it's milder symptoms than
Delta, the jury's still out on that. That is not clear. The jury is still out on that. People are still being hospitalized. You're right, not at the same rate as before, but that's because we've mostly been vaccinated.
Right.
I don't know.
A lot of people have. Yeah, I don't either. I'm playing it safe.
Yep. I think you're quite wise, actually.
Yeah.
And Aunt, who has not been boosted, I said, well, Aunt, his booster appointment's after CES. I said, that's foolish.
No.
You will get COVID, and you will bring it back. And I don't want you to bring it back. I do not want you to bring it back.
Please do not bring it back with you. I mean, I get the CES crud every year almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm not gonna do it. There is another reason why I'm not going to CES. That's the main one, but there's another one that I want to convey to you, is that we are moving.
Are you moving on up to the east side?
We are moving on up to, believe it or not, Santa Cruz, California.
I do believe it. Why am I not surprised at all? As soon as you said moving, I thought he's going to Santa Cruz.
I'm going to Santa Cruz.
Good for you. We'll see more of you, for one thing.
Yeah, I'll be able to drive.
I think Santa Cruz is awesome. Of course, I grew up, went to high school there, but
you went to high school there.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of friends there. Our very close friends have kids, and they now have kids. We're all going to be able. Joanna and I are going to be able to plug in as Uncle Scott and Auntie
Joe. Perfect.
So it's great.
I love Santa Cruz, and I think because Silicon Valley is so proximate. There's a lot of money has poured into Santa Cruz, and I think it's
it's expensive.
It is expensive. It used to be inexpensive.
Yeah, no, but once we sell our house down here, we'll be able to buy a house up there.
Yeah, good.
We're gonna rent for a while first.
Yeah, get to know the area. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
we're gonna be moving up there first week of February, so it's coming right up.
Nice. Wow, good for you.
Thank you.
You're going to be packing.
I'll be packing, and I may be unavailable one or two Saturdays. Speaking of which,
quite all right.
We're not on next week, obviously, Christmas.
Nor are we on the week January 1st, obviously.
Okay, the schedule on the TWiT.tv website says Tech Guy on January 1st.
Yeah, but it's recorded.
It's a recorded one. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, we should take that off because it isn't going to be anything to watch, or there won't be a podcast either.
There won't be a new one.
No, the first, you will return on the 8th to tell us all about that new TV thing.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and you can't miss that episode.
No, I can't. In fact, I will be in Santa Cruz that weekend, but I will call in from there.
Oh, good. That'll be fun.
I will.
Santa Cruz. Wow.
Yeah, man.
I'm kind of jealous. When I was a teenager, so awesome. I couldn't wait to get out of Santa Cruz, but now I kind of like it. All right, you want to stick around for the top?
Sure, happy to.
All right, thanks. 8888, ask Leo the phone number. Back to the lines we go. Steve is on the line from downtown L.A. Sounds hip.
How you doing?
Sounds with it.
Yeah, sitting here taking in side splitter by high velocity at 12 miles an hour.
High speed.
Anyway, since you're not going to a CES, I wasn't sure if that was by invite, but if you're not going, I'll take your ticket.
I don't have a ticket because I would never plan to go. So, but it's nice of you to offer. I think that the way it works, it's non-transferable anyway. If you're going, it's because CES is not open to the public. It's only open to the press and mostly to dealers. It's still a show where dealers go to find out about new stuff. Well, this is not going to be a year to go to CES, honestly. I think it's going to end up being quite shrunk Shrunken down.
Hey, it just means I get to move through the line faster.
Oh, man, that's the other problem. It's one of the reasons a lot of people of my ilk don't like to go to CES. You can't get anywhere. It's painful. Have you ever been?
No, I've always been wanting to go, but just never had access to it.
It is kind of a bucket list item until you do it. Then it's off the list.
Oh, well, anyway.
What can I do for you, Steve?
Okay. Well, when it comes to technology, I'm a bit of an anachronist, and I only recently acquired a 4K television, thanks to the nice lady moving across country, and sold it to me cheap.
Nice.
I was looking at any film titles that'd be worth watching. As far as I don't want to see a dramedy or something. I want to see some real action-adventure.
You like action-adventure. Okay. You know who's here with me in the studios? Of course, Scott Wilkinson. Now, did you get, what TV? Did you get an HDR 4K? Do you know? I guess it is probably, right?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
It's it's a Samsung.
Yeah. So Scott and I both agree, I know, that HDR is as big a improvement in the picture quality as 4K is. It really makes a difference, and the two together make it very vivid. Now Scott likes action movies, so what's your recommendation? I know you use Master and Commander to judge TVs by.
I did. I have used Master and Commander.
Good film.
Yeah, it's about naval adventures and
exactly right.
Russell Crowe's captain.
I really like Gravity.
Oh, perfect example. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Which is great.
The blacks of space in contrast to the brightness of Sandra Bullock's smile or scream.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking for something to blow me away. When I got my first flat screen, I got a Speed Racer, and it was just like, holy wow.
You know, it's funny because I remember getting my first music CD player, and I had the same thing. What's that first CD going to be to blow me away? So I completely understand that. His first 4K experience.
I got to tell you, another a movie, a title that to blow you away with color and action and so on is Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange would be good.
Oh, okay.
If you like the Marvel Universe.
Oh, man. I love the Marvel Universe.
If you don't mind primarily sand colors, the newer Mad Max is very beautiful in 4K.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Fury Road. Yeah.
Excellent.
How about the Transformer films?
No, that would probably be okay. Sure. If you
probably would. I've never been a fan of those, but
if you like Transformers, they're going to look good. The truth is, anything is going to look great. Now, the best way to watch it, you may not want to go out and get a Blu-ray player, but to get a UHD Blu-ray player will give you the best quality.
In fact, I don't think you can buy a Blu-ray player today that's not 4K.
That's right.
That's correct. Yeah. And the 4K Blu-ray player, the Ultra HD Blu-ray player that I recommend generally is from Panasonic. They make several. I think any of them are fine. You're going to spend about $100 or so on that.
That's the first Bluray players are like thousands.
$1,000. Yeah. The first Samsung Blu-ray player was $1,000. Yeah.
So,
of course, streaming is great too. Streaming.
Yeah, but so that's a question.
HD.
Is streaming as good though as the disc?
No, it's not.
No.
Okay. I mean, I watch only streaming. I have a UHD player, but I'm just not going to buy the discs. So I only watch streaming. But so I'm kind of missing out probably on the little extra.
I got to have the disc.
Yeah.
Well, I got LPs, I got discs. I'm driving around
there
a 20-year-old Mercedes because the cassette player still works, and I got 400 cassettes.
So who cares if the traffic's moving at 12 miles an hour? You got the Bee Gees cassette. You're good.
I put the top down, and I put on the Beach Boys.
Oh, that's very LA.
Man, that's good.
I'm annoying as hell in traffic.
Little
You only get hooked up to the StarTAC phone that's built into this thing.
Oh, come on. You don't really have a StarTAC in there, do you?
I have a StarTAC phone. It's got the little buttons and everything else. It just keeps saying no signal.
Oh, I bet. That's hysterical. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
Did you buy that used from a movie star or what? That's a great...
Yeah.
You've had that since day one?
No. I bought it about 6 years ago, everybody's going like, how can you afford a Mercedes? It's like you go to the dealership, you buy you find the luxury car that you want, and then you wait 16 years.
Wow.
Anything.
Wow.
You want a Porsche?
No, you're right. They depreciate so fast. Partly that's because they have StarTAC phones built into them. And cassette players.
Well, it's the cassette player that blows everybody away. I got like 30 cassettes here in the box.
You have one of those boxes of the cassettes, or they're all orange.
Oh, man.
I got the little briefcase.
I got my Queen cassette. Let me just put that in.
But to be fair, I got a 5-disc CD changer in the trunk.
Nice. In the trunk, of course. Where else?
Yeah.
Because...
yeah, that's why I used to install car phones.
Yeah. Hey, it's a pleasure talking to you, Steve. I'm sorry I can't give you my ticket. You know, there is a virtual CES going on. You could go to the virtual CES, but what's the point? I mean, that's just press releases online, maybe some streaming keynotes. The point of CES, and it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be next year. I don't know when it'll be, but that's to go and be like in a cattle, market full of millions of jammed in geeks looking at the latest stuff. That's the fun of it.
It's the face-to-face time, too.
Yeah, I guess. I can remember several
for me,
CESs.
that's the most important thing.
Going around with you, Scott, elbowing our way. Excuse me, out of the way. Over to, the Sony booth or the Panasonic booth to see what's new. Then it's noisy. There's a million people all jammed together. It's like Times Square on New Year's Eve. It's just packed.
Mm-hmm. The cab lines are an hour long.
It's so much fun once.
Yeah. And I've been going for 30 years.
Scott always wears a pedometer to measure his, and you walk miles, of course.
Miles. Yeah. Over the course of 4 or 5 days, it's 25, 28 miles, something like that.
Yeah. Well,
not this year.
No, it's just not, it's not worth it.
Not time. It's not time yet.
You always come back sick anyway, like with a cold.
That's right. That's right.
So let's not push it.
Let's not get COVID this time.
Let's not. And honestly, again, once you've done it, it's not, that's not that much fun. To me, it's not that much fun.
Again, for me, it's the face-to-face time with people I normally only communicate with over email.
Yeah. I saw Marquez Brownlee once. That's about it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, walking by. He said, "Who are you?" So, I think you're right. And actually, it's not once, but once every 5 years. That's enough. That's enough. Yeah. Hey, Scott, thank you. I appreciate you sticking around to answer Steve's call. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Scott Wilkinson Show. While I go and get a cup of Joe.
Get a cup of Joe. Arr. It's not Talk Like a Pirate Day. Hey, everybody. So nice to see you. I'm so sorry that IRC is down. Is it still down? Yep, it's still down. So thanks to Discord, and nice to see you all in Discord. I will be here, and you can ask me questions if you want. Mike S. said, the first OMG moment with high def was being able to see texture of people's clothes or the blades of grass on the baseball field during broadcast games. It's true. And 4K gives you even more of that, and 8K gives you yet more of that. The downside, local news broadcasters of a certain age that need the Barbara Walters filter. I remember when HD first came out. It was like 2000, like 20-some years ago. And I remember how much newscasters hated it because you could see every wrinkle. And you could see the pancake makeup that they use. I even remember seeing something. There was some demo. I can't remember what it was exactly, but there was a woman who had, shall we say, enhancement surgery, and you could see the scars on the side of near her arm. So it was very strange. Scooter X says, plus the CES adjacent events like PepCom, Showstoppers. That's exactly right. PepCom is actually really fun. I enjoyed going to that, and I met up with Leo and Dick DeBartolo and Padre SJ there. And, it was that was great fun. So let's see. Scooter X says the Apple TV 4K box has amazing 4K HDR output. It's true. It does. It's really great. Oh, good point. Out of sync. Some people like the Fifth Element for testing. That's true. Now, interesting story about the Fifth Element. The original Blu-ray was mastered very poorly, and it was actually it was soft. It just, it was like, this is Blu-ray? It's more like Blur-ray. So they fixed it, but Sony, that was one of the first Blu-rays to come out too, and everyone was really excited about it, but it was super disappointing. I think it was House of Flying Daggers was also like that. And once it was fixed, it was a great demo. I haven't seen the 4K version of Fifth Element. But you're right. It was a very popular demo thing. Mike Klein, thank you. Did you see that KTTV Fox 11 switched to ATSC 3 last week? I did not. This is the first major in an LA market. Wow. I did not hear that. That's amazing. That's big news. That is big news. I don't know why I didn't see that. Knox Harrington has a great question. How far are we from the point where the human eye simply cannot detect differences in resolution? We're there now. 8K is beyond what the human, unless you got your nose up to the screen. And I'm talking about regular seating distance. I mean, at a regular seating distance, 4K is beyond what human eye can detect in resolution. So, we're already there and past it. So the question then becomes, well, why even go beyond that? One reason is that if you have sharp, shallow diagonal lines, the higher the resolution, the more crisp those look. Because as I'm sure you know, with a digital display in pixels, a diagonal line will have jaggies if you get up close enough. And at low resolution, you can see those at a normal viewing distance. And the higher resolution you get, the less the jaggies become apparent until at some point they disappear from perception. So that's one reason to go to higher resolutions. Another is that with better upscaling, you can get a better picture at a higher resolution than you can at a lower resolution. So I don't think I absolutely don't think there's any reason to go beyond 8K, except in a wall-sized unit, or something like the Lightfield Lab solid light system I talked about last week, where they have millions of pixels, tens of millions of pixels. But that's because it's a true holographic display. That's something completely different. For a regular 2D display, you don't need to go beyond 4K, really, or 8K, certainly. But will they go to 16K? I was just thinking about this last night. Will they go to 16? Will they go to 32, 64, 128? Probably. Because a higher number is better, and we can sell you another TV. That's my cynical view on it. So anyway, let's see here. Yes, item from 2007, High Def Digest. Sony offers new Fifth Element Blu-ray. Exactly right. It's like, Mike S., exactly. It's like looking through a window, a very, very clean window. Exactly. Now, Mike Mann has posted something about the HD Home Run Connect 4K from Silicon Dust. I haven't tried that yet, but it's actually very interesting, and I look forward to it. Let's see. Scooter X had the original Fifth Element Blu-ray. Sony recalled it and sent me a new transfer. Exactly. TWiT stream, crooked house. Do you hang the flat screen TV level or align with walls and ceiling? I would say level. At least level with how you're sitting. I mean, is your floor tilted? Are you sitting? You want the TV to be square with your view. So if the walls are crooked, I mean, where do you live? The mystery spot in Santa Cruz?
Oh, your new favorite hangout.
Oh, man, I'm going to go to the mystery spot.
I don't know how it is now, but that's all you'd ever see is bumper stickers and signs for the mystery spot. All over Santa Cruz.
You know, I haven't been there in so many years, but when we move back, I'm probably going to go. Where gravity doesn't behave as normal.
It's just one of those classic, like 1940s or 50s roadside attractions. It's just kind of made up. But it's fun.
Well, it's optical illusions, too.
Right. We have, the petrified forest near us.
Well, yeah, it's going to be amazing. And here we go.
I'm so happy for you. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
See you.
2 weeks. Happy
Merry
Christmas. Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everybody. See you in a couple weeks.
See you January 8th. That's your next time. All right. Take care.
Got it. Bye.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here. It's Tech Guy time. Time to talk computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and, all the stuff, all the gizmos and gadgets. I should have mentioned this with Scott, and I forgot to. If you use YouTube TV, which is not YouTube, but it's their streaming TV solution where it's like cable. It basically is basic cable, and it's basic cable price, $65 a month, and you get all your local channels in most areas, and you get a lot of the basic cable stuff and ESPN, things like that. Well, not anymore. First of all, good news. It's now $50 a month. The bad news is that's because Disney has yanked ABC, ESPN, all of their channels. Disney owns ESPN and ABC, and of course the Disney channels. The FX networks, apparently they own them too. The National Geographic channel. All of that disappeared from YouTube TV at noon yesterday because I hate these. And we're seeing them more and more, these carriage disagreements. Carriage, who gets to carry those stations? Roku's had a number of tiffs. You probably have seen many local cable companies will say, on Thursday, you're going to lose your SEC football if you don't send a note to, Then they battle in public, back and forth. And eventually one side caves, almost always. This is the first time, despite many, many threats, the first time I can remember that a channel's been booted, just kicked right off. Actually, Scott's still here. How important is this to YouTube TV? The ESPN, I would imagine, is a big deal. ABC.
It's huge. All the Disney channels, National Geographic. I'm thinking about doing a cord cutting thing, and I was thinking about going to YouTube TV, and now I'm not so sure.
But almost always these get resolved. Usually before they happen. It does get
resolved.
Usually before they happen.
Yes, but not in this case. And we don't know how long it's going to take.
What you have is two giants, Google on the one hand and Disney on the other.
Yep.
Like dinosaurs battling. And we're the little people running around at their feet going, don't step on me, don't step on me. And
That's right.
We're the collateral damage. I don't think either company really suffers from this.
Not particularly.
I wonder,
except
though,
in PR.
Yeah, certainly bad for PR for both sides. And I wonder if, you kind of, I guess, depending on your allegiance, you blame whoever the other guy is. But we don't know who's at fault here at all.
We don't.
We can't tell, really, right?
I mean, YouTube TV wants more. Disney wants to pay less. I mean, isn't that the way of
Disney
business?
gives them money.
Right.
No, it's the other way around. YouTube gives Disney money to run their stuff. Oh, yeah. That's why it's $15 less. In fact, I think Google did that on purpose to tell its subscribers, a lot of this cost is not us. ESPN's the most expensive basic cable service out there. I think it's almost $15 a month by itself.
Yeah.
By itself.
Yep. Okay, so YouTube is paying Disney, so YouTube wants to pay less. Disney wants to get more.
No, Disney's paying YouTube.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
And then we paid YouTube to watch Disney. Now, in the note that Disney sent out, they said you could subscribe to our Disney bundle for $14 a month. You get Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu on demand with ads. It's a mess. It's a mess. I've talked about this before. We're in a transitional period between traditional. First there was broadcast, then there was cable. Now we're in internet land, and everything's going to move to internet land. I mean, everybody knows that.
It is.
In the meantime, broadcast and cable is just clawing as best they can, and of course the streamers. I mean, Disney Plus is a huge streaming channel. The streamers are saying, "Well, we want more too." I mean, it's just a mess.
It's a terrible mess. And then you have to subscribe to all these different streaming
services.
It's
bad for consumers. Yeah.
It's very bad. Yeah. I'm afraid so. Yeah.
ABC Local, ABC News Live, Disney Channel, Disney Junior, Disney XD, Freeform, FXX, FXM, National Geographic Wild, ESPN2, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, ESPN Ocho, ESPN, no, I made that one up, ESPNU, ESPN News, SEC Network, and the ACC Network, all gone. All gone. Oh.
From YouTube TV.
And here's an interesting thing. YouTube TV has, and I'm actually a YouTube TV subscriber. I love it. To me, it's the best cord-cutting option. They also have a DVR, and you can have all the members of your family get their own kind of personal DVR. But here's the thing. It's not really a DVR because guess what? All of those channels are gone from your DVR as well.
So anything you recorded
your recordings, because you didn't really record them.
This makes me think I'm still going to go back to satellite or cable.
It's not, anyway, thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. I can't.
Sure.
Scott, I love it. You can't get rid of him. But you know what? This is a common topic for all of us. I just feel like when dinosaurs battle, it's the cavemen that get stomped on. We are the ones suffering. And by the way, this will be fixed. This will be fixed. I think one of them's going to blink. It's a game of chicken that went a little too far. One of them's going to blink, and eventually, I think because it's a big college football weekend, right? I suspect that ABC was playing hardball, saying, well, we'll see how your subscribers feel after Saturday. And Dr. Mom points out that dinosaurs and cavemen did not coexist at any time in space. Okay, I know. It's an analogy. It's a metaphor. 8888 ask Leo. Back to the phones. Fletch on the line from Groveland, Florida. Hello, Fletch.
How you doing, Mr. Leo?
I am great. How are you, Fletch?
Not too bad, but I have a perplexing problem and a perplexing question for you.
A perplexing problem from the peripatetic Fletch. Okay. What is it?
Okay, first of all, so I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max. Man, I have been using iPhones all my smartphone life.
Yeah.
And just love them to death.
Yeah, they're great.
So I had this one, and my wife had a craft fair she was going to, and I was walking around, and she dared to text me. I picked up my phone, tried to do it, and it dropped and hit the ground.
Oh!
Yeah, so now I have a big ink blot-looking thing on the lower left-hand corner of my screen. But I'm okay because I have Apple Care, and I'm awesome.
Oh, yeah. You didn't look at the deductible yet, did you?
Well, it's like $30.
Okay,
like
good.
$30 to go, and I'm like, I'm happy.
That's worth it. Yeah.
So, I would think so. So I go and I look it up and say, hey, if you go to Best Buy, they'll go ahead and take care of the screen for you, and you're good to go. So I truck on over to Best Buy, who handles Apple Care stuff apparently, and drop it off there. And a little while later, they come back and say, hey, you know what? One of the screws on the bottom of the thing is stripped. And so we can't use our little machine to get it open. And since it's stripped, Apple won't honor the warranty anymore that you had with Apple Care.
Like you were messing with it.
And like I was trying to, I told her, I said, I don't even know where the screws are. What are you talking about? and or maybe I took it to the U-Break iFix store or whatever. I don't know. But
have you ever taken it in for service?
Never, ever. It has,
now I'm thinking Best Buy did it, and then they didn't want to own it, and they said, "Oh, look."
That's what I was wondering as well, but I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, because you can't call them a liar, or they're going to throw something at you. But I have to say, if you have never had this phone in for repair,
never.
There's no way that screw would be stripped. You don't have access to it. It's you'd have to have a special tool anyway. If you've never brought in for repair, they did it. There's no question in my mind.
So my question, though, is, I'm going to go to Apple, and they're going to say, hey, we got to go with what our dealers say, or am I just...
I would bring it to Apple and say, dude, something went wrong because I bought it to Best Buy. I had never done anything to this. It was pristine. They say the screw is stripped. How would it be stripped? They must have stripped it. But throw yourself on the mercy of the Apple genius. By the way, they have a lot of leeway. And I think you can make a strong case. There's no way that's stripped. It was either... there's one of two possibilities. It was either stripped at the factory, which is possible.
It's possible.
Or was stripped by Best Buy. If it was stripped at the factory, it's Apple's problem anyway. If it was stripped by Best Buy, it's really Best Buy's problem. But Apple might, given that you're a good customer and they want, good PR, they might fix it. They probably have different machines than Best Buy. So Apple does allow third parties like Best Buy and U-Break iFix, people like that. They're called Apple authorized repair centers, and they can do the repairs. But I don't think they have all of the capabilities that the Apple Store has.
Oh, okay. Then I will do that. We have an Apple Store in Orlando, so I'll just go there and check that out.
Yeah, I'm sorry you have to go all the way there, but I think that's and I can't promise, because again, it's don't come in confrontational, don't come in jets hot, these guys have huge amount of leeway in what they do, and if they really feel, as I do, this is not your problem, you never brought it in for repair anyway, and now they say the screw is stripped, either they did it or it was done at the factory. It's not your problem, and they should give you a new phone. Or they may have, in this, they probably have a machine that they can handle this with anyway, that Best Buy did not have.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question, this is an easy one, and that is that a few weeks ago I called and told you I was buying my wife a MacBook Pro, or I was going to, and get her the M1 and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, so in lieu of that, since it was going to be won't be able to get it until February or something because of the back order, Best Buy had a great deal going on the high-end current MacBook Pros.
Oh, cool.
The Intel i9s. So I got that, and the problem is that she has fallen in love with that touch bar.
Ah.
And I know that they're going away on the M1. So my question actually really is, why all the hate for the touch bar? What am I missing?
Well, if she loves it, she loves it. I mean, you can't tell somebody that something that Apple put on there that they love that. But I'll tell you why I hate it, because I keep hitting it by accident, and it's not that useful to me. But everybody's different. So if she loves it, she loves it. And I think Apple's taken it out because people do complain about it. The new configuration, I have the new MacBook Pro 14-inch. The new configuration is much bigger function keys, a bigger escape key. I use all of those, and I never use the touch bar. So to me, it was a bad trade.
Okay.
Yeah, it was something I didn't use for something I do use. And I think that's probably generally the feeling. I had to turn the Siri thing off the touch bar, because every time I went for the backspace key and missed, Siri would say, "What do you want?" I said, "I don't want anything. I just want a backspace, please." So that wasn't a good experience for me either. And even then, even after I've changed that, the calendar would pop up. Turning it off really is the only thing that would keep it from popping up things when I mistyped. She's probably a better typer than I am. Typist.
She's pretty good, yeah. Yeah, it's just the only problem is that it made me not be able to get a MacBook Pro, because she's going to give me that one once she gets the M1. Now she's like, I don't want the M1.
No, give her the i9. You got a deal. What the hell? Say, honey, you wanted the touch bar. Look what I got you.
A fair point.
Yeah, I mean, Apple has said they're going to continue to support those Intel Macs for some time to come. It probably is not. If you got an M1, it would probably have a longer lifespan. but is a difference between maybe 8 years and 5 years or something like that. The Intel will be around for a while.
Okay, fair enough.
And they're
right, Leo,
they're very fast. They're good. But here's what you miss out when you get an Intel Mac, especially a laptop. The battery life isn't as good by 50%. So they run hotter. The fans run a little hot, and the M1s are very, very fast compared. But the i9 was the top of the line, and the discount you're getting because that's the old Mac. It's not an old model yet. I guess it is now, isn't it? Because they have a 16-inch. So, but the discount should be fairly significant. They want to. Best Buy doesn't want to carry them anymore. And given that she loves the Touch Bar, go for it. Why not, right? I think that's a perfectly sensible thing to do. How are you feeling? I'm going to guess, if you're really honest, you are feeling like a lot of us, a little unsettled, a little anxious these days, yeah? We've been through some tough times. The thing that is great to know is there is help out there. There's somebody you can talk to. You can get without shame, without embarrassment, without a huge cost. I'm talking about BetterHelp online therapy, BetterHelp.com/techguy. And I know there's maybe a little stigma against therapy, but let me tell you from personal experience and the experience of many, many of my friends and family members, A, there's no shame in it. B, it can make a huge difference. It's like getting your car tuned up. Not because you have a problem, but just because you need a tune-up. You go to the gym, you work on your physical well-being. Why not your mental well-being? You keep your house clean, don't you? You sweep up. That's all we're talking about. A little sweeping up of the mental cobwebs. Routine maintenance for your mental and emotional wellness. And I think now more than ever, we need that. We're going through some anxious times, and it's a great way to prevent bigger issues down the road, to give you a happy, healthier life. You want to live your best life. Therapy doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy. And BetterHelp is the easiest way to do it. It's not just any online therapy. It's customized for you, offering therapy in any way you prefer. Of course, video conferencing. You can do it via phone. You can have live chat sessions with your therapist. Sometimes people feel more comfortable just typing, right? So you don't have to see anybody on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's much more effective. It's just great because it's when you need it. It's on time, just in time. In fact, you can start communicating with your therapist in 48 hours. There's a nice onboarding process to help you find the therapist. And by the way, it's very easy. No stigma attached. If you said, this therapist is not right for me, in fact, they encourage you to find the right person, and you have to, right? Just the first therapist that they come up with isn't necessarily the one you want. It's true in any situation. Find exactly the right person that matches your way of thinking. It's as smart as you. That's not going to take any guff from you. Maybe that's what you want. Or maybe you want somebody who's just going to be kind and listen. That's the person you can find at BetterHelp. I don't know. We invest in everything in our lives, except sometimes not ourselves, in our mind, in our thinking. I think it's time. BetterHelp. No stigma. It's private. You can do it whenever it works for you and at a much lower cost than in-person therapy. Tech Guy listeners get their 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/techguy. It really works. It really works. I can vouch for it. BetterHelp, BetterHelp, HELP.com/techguy. Get 10% off your first month. There's no reason to suffer in silence. If you're feeling a weight, anxiety, if you're uncertain about something, maybe the parts of your life that aren't going the way you want, you deserve everything to feel better, to go the way you want, and there's help out there. I cannot recommend this more highly. BetterHelp.com/techguy. We thank him so much for supporting the podcast and supporting you, our listeners. And you support us, of course, when you use the address. So please do. BetterHelp.com/techguy. You owe it to yourself. Yeah, I was 7 years old. I'll never forget. 88, Ask Leo. Actually, that's the perfect age for Christmas, isn't it? You never forget those special days. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. If you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, you want to talk high tech. Richard's on the line from West LA. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Just to tell you, I am about 20 years older than you are.
Oh, my God. How do you survive?
Well, a lot of carrots.
Good. I'm going to start eating carrots right now.
Here's my situation.
Yes.
Given my age, I test pretty well for my eyesight. Good. I don't think it's perfect, but the doc says I'm fine.
That's awesome.
For my hearing, because of what Scott has suggested a few years ago, I have a Vizio P55-C1 TV. My question basically is this. I'm not rich, but I have some funds. Is it worth given my age, and I'm okay financially, for me to improve my television set with some of the stuff you guys have been talking about?
I would say so.
HD and all the rest of that stuff.
I mean, I don't want to be ageist, and given that I'm also a senior citizen, it would be foolish of me. But when I sent my mom a TV, I didn't send her the state-of-the-art. I figured, she'll be perfectly happy with a TCL, and she is. For her, I can't speak for you, but for her, ease of operation is more important than the picture quality. She wants to be, and it has a Roku built in, so it's easier for her to use. If you care about picture quality, then I think you should get a new TV, absolutely. The good news is 4K HDR TVs are inexpensive. Relatively speaking. I mean, the prices are a lot lower than they were. And I think you would benefit from a nice OLED screen. You have an LCD screen right now.
Right.
I missed it. Did you say that yours was 4K?
I don't know. I was just going through the booklet while waiting to talk with you.
It's not if you...
I don't see that
I suspect
4K.
it's not.
No,
yeah.
It's a P55-C1, if that helps.
Yeah.
Vizio.
Yeah. Great TVs. In fact, we recommended them for a long time. There's nothing wrong with them. They are LCDs, and that one, actually, you got kind of the top of the line, so that one is a great picture quality. But I don't know if it's 4K. I'm thinking, it might be 4K, come to think. When did you get it? 2015, 2016?
Maybe a bit later than that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's about 18.
I think that's a very good TV. Got to take a break. Hang on for a second. I'll talk to you off the air. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I think it is I'm looking, you said the P55, right?
P55-C1, Season Charles 1.
Yeah. I think that actually, the P series is their high end.
Right. Well, that's thanks to Scott and you.
Yeah. So we recommended that a long time. The only issue is whether it's 4K or not. Now, an OLED will be better. It'll have a better image. But honestly, if you're that's an HD TV, so it is not 4K.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. So you will get higher resolution. You'll get HDR, which actually is a huge difference. That just means a bigger... the difference between blacks and bright white is more dramatic, more realistic. And I think an OLED would give you a lot better picture. The good news is you're under $2,000 probably for, how big is this one, 55 inches?
Yeah, 55.
Yeah. I would even go bigger, to be honest. How close do you sit to it?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm seeing you, in fact.
Hi.
I would guess 10 feet, maybe a little less.
Okay. You could get a 65 LG OLED for under $2,000, about $1,700, that has 4K and HDR. I think that's a big difference. It really depends. Has nothing to do with age. It has to do with what you're looking for. And if you're looking for a very crisp display that looks as realistic as possible, there's no comparison. If you're just watching, the evening news, it doesn't matter. But if you watch movies on it?
I watch movies. I watch sports.
Yeah, sports and movies are going to look great. Sports are not...
With the 65, I think that's too big for my room and where I am.
Okay. Well, you can get 55, and then it'll be even less.
Yeah.
I always tell people get bigger than they think. If you can, obviously, if you can fit it. But the bigger you get, the more immersive it is. And the LG OLED 55 is $1,400. I think it's going to make a big difference, yeah. You know what else will make a big difference is getting some decent sound on it. The sound built in the TV is really inadequate. So at least...
I use speakers. In fact,
good.
A few weeks ago, I called you because I was getting a buzz. Do you remember this at all?
Oh, yeah.
Getting a buzz on movies.
Did you figure it out?
And you said I stumped you. You couldn't figure out what was going on. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah. Did you figure it out?
Nope.
Still buzzing.
Got in touch with somebody else. Sorry, I wanted a second opinion.
Yeah?
No hope.
Well, I don't know if there's no hope.
Any idea what the hell was
No hope is a little stronger than I was, I hope.
No, it was really, one of the things I found that buzz. I'm sorry to digress, but
Did I mention putting a choke on the wires? I think I did. One of these little magnetic chokes on the wiring? Because that's a lot of times where that buzz comes from.
Well, I didn't. I'm sorry. I don't remember you saying that, but you may well have. My memory's gone. That's worse than my eyesight, I can tell you.
You know, my mom says the best thing about that is she can watch the same show, kind of in an endless loop. She watches Succession. There's 3 seasons. By the time she gets to the end of it and starts it over, she doesn't remember any of it. So that's nice. I have the same experience, by the way. It's great. I go, when did that happen?
What is a choke?
So you can get them online. They're cheap. They're basically, they're ferrite coils that you put on wires that reduce interference. And typically buzz means you're getting interference. It's called the 60 hertz buzz because that's the power is 60 cycles a second. So it's a low. I think I asked you this bzzz, zzz, kind of a lower buzz.
More than that. It's...
Oh, all right. Maybe that's why I didn't say...
I only get that. Understand, I think I told you this. On movies, most of them for Netflix, some of them I notice on something else. But
I think a new TV is a good way to fix this.
I never hear it.
Get a new TV. Yeah, definitely you should...
I don't know. It's not on the TV.
No, it's on the speakers.
TV.
Yeah.
Regular TV.
Richard, hang on.
Basketball, I'll never hear that.
That's so weird. I got to do Johnny here. Do you want to hang on or... Our traveling guy is back. Johnny Jet helps us travel better with technology every week. JohnnyJet.com is his website. He's wearing red flannel, so I think you're either in your jammies or you've been to Canada.
Neither.
This
is actually a shirt my wife gave me for Christmas, for a Christmas photo.
Aw. Is it the Jet tartan?
Yeah, you know what? I guess you can call it that.
The McJet family plaid. It looks great on you, kid.
Listen,
Laddie, you look good.
We got a photo shoot. Here's a shirt. This is
so
a few
cute.
weeks ago.
Oh, really?
So
she is she's an influencer. She's a Pinterest influencer. So she's all about, fashion and how it looks and all that. So did you all have was that for your Christmas card?
Yes. Did you get it?
Yes, I loved it.
Okay, good. Yeah, this was in it. Although I think I had a sweatshirt on because it was cold out.
You looked great. And so does Natalie, by the way. What a beauty. And those 2 children.
I'm very fortunate.
Oh, I loved your Christmas card. Thank you.
Thank you. And by the way, speaking of the Christmas card, there's a service that we used for this. It's called Flytographer. And it's a great service. It's for travelers. We used it around the world. Full disclosure, we've worked with them before. But, we've taken photos in Paris, in Hawaii, in London. And so, one of the best things about traveling is getting a really cool photo. But instead of asking some stranger to take a picture, you hire a professional photographer for 30 minutes. They meet you at wherever you want to go, or they'll tell you the best spot. And then you get these incredible photos, which we now have up on our wall of all our vacations.
Yeah, because I have lots of vacation pictures, but I'm not in any of them.
Yeah, so Flytographer, it's a great, she's based in Vancouver, the woman who started it, and she has over 500 photographers around the world.
That's really cool, and including LA, I guess.
Definitely.
Including Manhattan Beach, sure. So good.
Definitely, they have all over. It's a great service.
It's a great Christmas card. I really like it, and I love it that Natalie Art directed it. That's great.
Oh, are you kidding me? When it comes to clothes, I'm always about comfort, and she's all about style and looking good. I'm like, listen, I don't care. I'm married.
I love that. That Christmas plaid you're wearing looks great.
Well, thank you. But I don't know. There are a lot of people traveling. Yesterday, over 2.2 million people went through U.S. checkpoints.
Now, you said that the Sunday after Thanksgiving is the busiest day of the year, but I got to think something around this time, or maybe going home, is going to be very, very busy too.
So the two busiest days for this holiday coming up is the 23rd and the 3rd. January 3rd will be the two busiest days out of the next. And they have to be ranked in the top 10 of all year. I'm not sure exactly where they fall because I know the Sunday after Thanksgiving is number one.
I wonder if Omicron's going to hit this hard, or if people are just going to, I suspect people are just going to throw up their hands and say, well, let's go. Anyway, let's just take a chance.
Americans are domestically, but internationally, that has just dropped off a cliff because, number one, all the restrictions. So many countries are now tightening up. Either, like Canada this week came out. They all thought they were going to close the border. They did not, at least yet. Who knows if they will, but they did say they urged their citizens not to travel abroad.
Well, it's not like we haven't been through this. We kind of now know, here comes a variant. It's very contagious. This is what you do proactively. You don't wait till the hospitals are full. This is what you do proactively.
That's what they're doing. But France locked down on the UK. So they just came out saying, you cannot come in from the UK unless you quarantine.
They called off their big New Year's Eve thing as well, I hear.
Yeah, so Europe's a mess. We usually follow them, so it does make me nervous. And you look at all these professional sports, these athletes who are mostly all vaccinated, and they're all now in quarantine protocol. It does make you think. But they all say that if you've been vaccinated, it should be mild. So they're worried about the people who are unvaccinated. And if you're unvaccinated, you're going to have a very difficult time traveling outside of the United States.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of going to Paris for the New Year's Eve fireworks,
ain't gonna happen.
First of all, they called them off. Yeah, and you're not going to get there even if you do. Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. I mean, it's always sad, but we also, this is the reality we live in. We can't.
It is. But if you are traveling, and I do have some tips for you, especially if you're parking at the airport. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the news lately, but airports parking has become a real premium. Number one, a lot of the workers are not showing up or haven't showed up, so they don't have the staffing. And number two is that people have changed their habits. Travelers have changed their habits. They're afraid to either, which doesn't really make much sense to me, but either taking a taxi or a limo or an Uber to the airport because they want to be safe, so they drive their own car.
Sometimes
And then, so people are staying longer now because they don't have to be home for work because they can work wherever. So there's not a lot of empty lots. So if you are going to the airport, make sure you book your spot in advance. There's websites you can go, airportparkingreservations.com. Almost every airport, you can just log on to theirs. LAX, they have a brand new economy lot. If you book in advance, you save 50%.
Wow.
So it's advantageous to you to do that.
And they guarantee you a spot if you book in advance.
They do, but I still recommend showing up extra early because I have actually reserved a spot once. This is before the pandemic. And they said, sorry, lot's full. I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's what I'm asking. It's like the old Seinfeld bit. But you reserve a car, but you get there are no cars. Well, but I don't think you understand what a reservation means.
Same thing. And definitely with cars too. But I mean, for airports, you want to show up early. Don't just show up at the last minute because you might not be able to find a parking spot.
Wow.
Best advice is to take public transportation or a private car or however you get there, or have a friend drop you off, because that
sometimes it's actually cheaper than parking.
Definitely.
Well, mass transit certainly would be, but even a car sometimes it's cheaper than parking. If we're going to go for more than a couple of weeks, it's usually cheaper just to get a car. Now, I usually do the off-airport third-party parking. Is that also in the same situation?
Yes, but always call up in advance, find out. But during peak times like holiday travel, it's a premium. And but you know what? There are also some hotels that are close to the airport.
Yes, I've done that.
They offer one night. You spend one night and you can get like a week free, depending on the package deal.
And you leave your car there, and then they get the shuttle to the airport. I've done that, especially with an early morning flight. I'd stayed just right off SFO. There are many hotels there, and they'll let you park there.
And again, we talked about this before. Do not leave anything of value in the car. I mean, I read an article. I don't know if this is true. You're up in San Francisco area. They're saying that some people are leaving the hatchback open, the trunk open, to show that there's nothing in the car. Is that true?
I don't know. I haven't seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, for years in New York City, you'd put a big sign in the window that says, "There's no radio in this car. Don't break the window."
So never leave anything of value, and especially in sight. But
Burke's saying, yes, it is true. In San Francisco, they're leaving the trunks up and open. Just so, if there's anything you want, come on and get it. Just look, there's nothing inside.
Well, it makes it easier to steal the car now. They're saying that the car...
Well, yeah, because then you just get in the trunk and you push down the seat and you're in the car. You can't win.
It's a crazy world. Yesterday I was at the Manhattan Beach Village shops, and with my kids, all of a sudden a helicopter was circling. Cops showed up. A security guard came out. I said, "What's up?" He's like, "There's an active shooter." I said, "What?"
What?
And I was like a deer in headlights. Turns out it was a rumor. A worker overheard another worker saying that there was an active shooter, and they called, and the cops showed up. I mean, honestly, the Manhattan Beach, Hawthorne, El Segundo police departments showed up within seconds, it seemed like.
I guess they take that.
They don't mess around, so it's very safe, but it was unsettling. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know where to go.
Kids, right. And, it's sad that you have to, before you go to a public place, plan your exit in case somebody has a gun. That's not what we want to do in life.
Unfortunately, this is a new reality. So, I mean, I've been doing this for years. Whenever I go to a restaurant, I'm always looking at the door. I seat towards.
Oh yeah.
I
sit with your back to the door. Yeah. Right.
No. Sit with my back towards the wall.
Back to the wall so you can see the door.
Facing.
Exactly. I've been
Yeah,
getting this wrong all this time. I also put the mask on my kid's face first. I got to get this stuff straight.
Well, you do have to put the mask on your kid's face first. Actually, sorry, not on the plane.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yes,
you see, Johnny Jet, he's got it wrong too. JohnnyJet.com/newsletter for his newsletter. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram. He knows. He always puts his mask on first. He's not. He's a smart traveler.
I never had to do it. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Me neither. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. You're right. I've never had to do that.
And I got to tell you, I never want to.
I honestly think... Oh, it looks like the chat is back. Everybody go on and get in the chat there.
I was going to say, I couldn't get on the chat.
It was down. The server was down. It looks like we are back in charge here.
Okay, good. I always like to read the chat and see if anyone has any questions.
I know. I don't know what happened. The server went down or something. But everybody go on back in the chat. Get out of here. It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. No, you can stay there. Yeah, apparently, I hadn't seen this. People across the Bay Area, and the police say it's a bad idea. They're leaving their trunks open.
I would think so.
That's crazy.
I'm going to get in the chat room.
I'm shocked, said former SFPD Deputy Chief Garrett Tom. There's so much that can go wrong here. At least your window's not broken. Right?
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that they are.
I'm glad. We're going to be a nation of agoraphobics if this keeps up. Nobody's going to go anywhere. It's crazy.
I can't get in the chat, by the way.
Well, it's up. I see it. I don't know what the problem is. It takes a while because, you have to get voiced. There's not an instant voicing of the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But you'll be in there. It takes 70 seconds. Kim just got in. Mike B is in. I just got channel operator status. I am golden. There's that's a safety thing. We have a 70-second delay before you can.
I see.
To prevent the drive-by spammers. We don't want any drive-by spamming.
I don't blame you. I mean, I don't know how you regulate it because I get so many comments on my website that so many are spam.
I know, it's ridiculous.
And you got to do it in real time.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of mods and they're very, very, very good. But also, the spammers are determined, I guess, is the problem. They're determined. Well, Johnny, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. No show till the 8th.
Okay, and actually, I'm flying on that day. I'm planning on it.
Well, then no show to the 15th for you, unless you change your plans.
Yeah, well, hopefully we won't, but we'll see what happens with this Omicron. You never know. That's the whole thing with today.
Yeah,
you got to be flexible.
Yeah, and I think the thing is we've been through this before. We kind of know, and I think prudence is dictated. You know, we don't technically, because we're in Sonoma County, have to do masks indoors, but I'm having everybody wear masks when they come to work, and we're also discouraging people from coming to work and all that stuff. So
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I hope you have a healthy, happy...
You too.
Safe.
Lots of love to all of the fam. You've got a great family. Thank you for that Christmas card. It was so sweet.
I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, we got it. And I would show everybody, but it's at home, and it's just wonderful. So
that's right. You don't need to show anyone.
All right.
I try to block my kids' eyes out of their photos online.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to help.
On them. I put big sunglasses on them.
Oh, that's cute.
I had so many people steal my identity.
Have you? Really?
They pretend to be me, and they're like fishing. I don't know. So many girls have sent me emails or letters and saying that they've been taken for money because people pretended they were pretending to me and my lifestyle.
Oh, God.
So I feel terrible.
Hi, this is Johnny. I'm in Trieste, but I lost my passport and wallet. Can you just wire me $1,500 and I'll give it back to you?
Well, they don't say Johnny Jet. They make up the names, and they establish a relationship and say, hey, I would love to come visit you, but can you pay for my plane ticket?
Wow.
And then they wire the money, and that's it.
Well, don't do that.
I'm trying. That's why I'm like putting the glasses on my kids, at least. Protect them. Take care.
Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. What? You're still there, Richard. You are determined.
I sure am.
You are a determined fellow. Richard asked a great question, though. Is it worth getting a new TV? And my answer is yes. Make sure you got good sound. And then he's the one who has the buzz, which I forgot about from weeks past. We were talking about the buzz. I'm not sure we want to get back into the buzz.
No, let's forget that.
But I do think a new TV, if you like watching movies and sports, those are two things that will really benefit. The sad thing about sports, unfortunately, is almost all of it is in HD. There's very rarely will you see 4K sports. So sports you may not get much of a benefit from.
Right.
But certainly movies, streaming stuff. Who do you stream? Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Netflix is 4K.
That's where I get the buzz. I don't really want to deal with that too much.
Oh, that's only on Netflix.
No, as a matter of fact, when I called you originally, it was only on Netflix. But since then, I have it on another. I had it on another movie.
It's spreading. Is it a Roku?
It's really weird.
Is it a Roku you're using?
The only other place I've seen it. Everything else is fine. Good sound. Good for my ears. My ears aren't really that great, but they're good.
Neither are mine.
I test well.
They're probably better than mine.
Maybe not. I do wear a hearing aid occasionally. Not often.
Yeah. Lee, I think, frankly, you owe it to yourself to have a great TV and great sound. Because why not enjoy, live it up.
How much does the box from DirecTV matter, Leo?
Is that how you get your local stations? Is DirecTV? You have a satellite dish? Yep. Yeah. It just depends. Honestly, you can get everything over the internet now that you're getting through the satellite dish, and it will be higher quality, but it will not necessarily save you money. For instance, we were just talking about YouTube TV and how they lost ESPN and Disney. They'll get those back, but one of the things YouTube TV offers for a $20 surcharge per month, it's not cheap, is 4K content where available. And so a lot of college football for some reason is 4K, not NFL yet. Next year probably, or the year after, it'll be 4K. None of your DirecTV stuff is 4K because it's coming in off of satellite. It's too expensive. So streaming will be a improvement in almost every case. Even if it's not 4K, it'll be an improvement. And certainly streaming over HBO Max, Showtime, Disney Plus, Netflix, all of those are 4K. Apple, if you buy movies on Apple TV. In fact, Apple TV, I buy a lot of movies on my Apple TV because Apple has a nice little, I don't know if it's expressed as a policy, but they've been doing it when you buy an HD movie and the movie then is upgraded to 4K, as happened with all of the Lord of the Rings and Hobbits movies, they replace your HD version with a 4K version without additional charge. And so a lot of the movies that I bought years ago in HD are now 4K, which is a really nice thing. They really look good.
Now, you have said in the past many times that when you go to a store like Best Buy, they jazz up the pictures on various...
yeah, you can't judge a TV in the showroom.
Yeah, I was afraid of that because I was thinking I would go to a showroom and see if I can see the difference.
Oh, well, you'll see the difference. What they do is they put them in dynamic mode, which is brighter and more vivid colors. The colors are more saturated because that attracts the eye.
Sure.
You know, we're like monkeys. We'll go, oh, that's pretty. But you know that. So that's not it is apples to apples because they've done that on all the TVs. So if you compare an HD to a 4K, you're comparing, apples to apples. The content is jazzed, but it is still, that's the difference. And it really should look a lot better to you. I think it will. You read books?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so your eyesight's good enough to read. You'll notice the difference, absolutely.
Now, in terms of money is concerned, as I said, I'm not rich, but I
$13.99 for a 55-inch. Can you afford $13.99?
I could handle $14.99. Yeah.
That's the cost.
And which brand would you recommend, or what Scott?
LG, the LG OLEDs. Mm-hmm. Those are very, very good. Samsung makes OLEDs, so does Sony. But I think just in general, there's this year in the shootout, I think the Sony's won for OLEDs, but there's a infinitesimal difference between them. And I'm just a fan of the LG TVs. I think they're really great. That's what I have.
My room is fairly bright. I'm in it right now watching you. I can darken it, but I can't get it totally dark during the day.
That's fine.
That's not a problem. Okay.
Yeah, so your LCD is brighter. So it's less of an issue with an LCD. An OLED is not as bright, so it's more of an issue. More to me, the issue is reflections. So I will draw the curtains on the window behind our OLED just because I don't want to see the reflection in there. But it doesn't have to be darkened. Just dim.
I can do that.
Just draw the curtains.
More or less dark. But
and at night, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's mostly when you watch movies anyway, right?
No, actually, I watch a lot of movies during the day.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Another story. That's
the minute I retire, it's full time. Movies. I got. You know what I love is the Criterion Channel. Now that you're not going to get any benefit on because these are old movies, but actually, I think they look pretty darn good. I have to say, so they do good restoration of these old black and whites. It's great. TCM. They're not 4K. They're HD.
Right.
You'll have fun. Richard, you owe it to yourself. You earned it.
I don't necessarily want to spend the $1,400, but if I think it's going to improve things in my old age, I'd like to do the best I can that I can afford.
Yeah. It is not a bad idea. Go to a Best Buy or somewhere and look at them side by side. You know that they're tweaked for brightness and stuff, but you're not judging it. You're judging to see if there's a difference between your LCD, your HD LCD and your 4K OLED. And I think that will be apparent.
Okay, well, I'll do that. I'm hesitant to do that because of what you've been saying about how they jazz it.
Yeah. But you already know that, and it's apples to apples because they jazz them all up the same.
Right.
And it's not an ideal viewing circumstance anyway. You're in a giant fluorescent lit room. So, in some ways it's not going to look as good at home. In some ways it's going to look better. It's not going to look as good because it won't hurt your eyes with its vivid brightness. But on the other hand, it'll be much more realistic, and you won't have to compete with fluorescent lighting. So if you think the OLED looks good in the showroom, you will think it looks good, much better even at home.
At home, okay.
Yep.
Good suggestions.
Enjoy, Richard. Yeah, I bought the OLED, and in fact, Scott came over because he's a TV calibrator. He's THX certified calibrator, and I had him calibrate it. Scott and Robert Heron, another friend of mine, also a calibrator, they came in. So we didn't have to really change anything. It was pretty much perfect. Okay, I like that. It came out of the box. You don't leave it in dynamic mode or showroom mode, or you put it in cinema mode. And at first, you might rebel a little bit when you get this new TV and it's so bright and vivid, and you put it in cinema mode, it seems drab. But it's actually attempting to duplicate the actual color, reproduce the movie as delivered instead of juicing it. And it's true for football. You know, sometimes you're watching a football game or a baseball game and the field is bright green. Man, it looks good. That grass looks great. It's not natural, though. And so you put on, cinema mode or sports mode, and okay, maybe it's not quite as bright, but it looks like real grass, not fluorescent grass. And ideally you do that because that's how the filmmaker wanted it to look. And it honestly, it looks great. Whenever possible, I have a number of TVs. Only one is the 4K OLED, and whenever possible, that's where I watch it. It looks good. It really looks good. All right, time to take a little break. Get ready for some news at the top of the hour. More calls coming up in hour number 3 of the Tech Guy Show. I really want to talk about our sponsor, actually, UserWay, because we were just talking, of course, to a blind caller, and you understand now, you can hear a little bit about the challenges if you're blind or disabled in any way, doing things like, checking out the internet. Well, there is a good solution. It's called UserWay. It's more than a good solution. It's the right solution for any company that's running a website. You need to understand a website is deemed by the federal government as a public entity. And as such, it has to adhere to the law, particularly the Americans with Disabilities Act. It has to be accessible. Is your website ADA compliant? When somebody asked me that, chill went down my spine. I thought, oh no, that's going to take some time, some effort. But then I found UserWay, userway.org. UserWay is amazing. It has a vision I can really connect with to make your website accessible to everyone. It is an incredible AI-powered solution, one line of JavaScript that tirelessly enforces the hundreds of web community access guidelines, one line of JavaScript. It can do more than an entire team of developers. It's used by Coca-Cola, by Disney, by eBay, by FedEx. UNICEF uses it. More than 1 million websites use UserWay. And now these best-in-class enterprise tools are available to anybody, small and medium-sized businesses, for a very affordable price. And when you scale, UserWay can scale with you. It fixes image alts. It fixes complex nav menus that are just, a roadblock to blind users. It ensures your website makes use of accessible colors. It provides everything you need for that web accessibility layer that's required. And it works with everything: WordPress, Shopify, Wix. UserWay's cost-effective and easy to add. Same for AEM, Sitecore, SharePoint. UserWay integrates seamlessly with everything. Now, if you're in doubt, go to the website, userway.org/twit. They've got a free scanning tool there. You can see if your website's ADA compliant. And if it's not, well, Susan Bennett has a message for you.
UserWay is trusted by more than 1 million websites and 60 million users with disabilities. Visit userway.org to learn how one line of code can make your website accessible.
UserWay can make any website fully accessible, ADA compliant. It's not just the right thing to do, it's also the law. With UserWay, everyone who visits your site can browse seamlessly, customize it to fit their needs. It's a great way to show your commitment to millions of people with disabilities. Go to userway.org/twit, and right now we can get you 30% off UserWay's AI-powered accessibility solution. UserWay, making the internet accessible. Gosh darn it, that's just the right thing to do. userway.org/twit. Check them out today. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers and the internet and home theater and all that stuff. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number if you want to talk high tech. 8888 Ask Leo. Website, techguylabs.com. And that's where you'll find all the show notes and everything. A sad farewell to our good scribe, James DeRuvo. We're moving the website over to our podcast website for a variety of reasons, which I explained at the beginning of the show, but I don't want to get into. Again, basically cost issues, upgrading our software. And so we already have the podcast website at twit.tv. So we thought, well, we'll just put the Tech Guy stuff there. We actually always have been. So that'll now be the source for your Tech Guy notes. And it'll still be at techguylabs.com, thanks to the miracle of DNS redirection. 8888 Ask Leo. Michael's on the line from Torrance, California. Hi, Michael. Hello, Michael.
Dr. Leo.
How are you, sir?
Good. I'm good. I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike. Good to see you. What kind of doctor are you, Mike?
I'm a doctor. We had a confirmation that we were doctors in, technology.
Oh, so I won't mention this just pains all up and down my side. That's for a different kind of doctor.
No, I can't help you.
Okay.
And we are all monkeys. Your last caller, that was
all monkeys.
We are monkeys. Yeah,
nice.
We're monkeys.
What can I do for this Mikey?
Okay, so I'm running Log4j Apache.
No, you're not. Stop it now. Come on.
I know.
And by the way, if you are, I have no help for you. I'm so sorry. Good luck and God bless.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oof.
The question is, Carbonite was a sponsor
for years.
And I've used them. Yeah, I used them for, and I still do.
They're perfectly good. Nothing wrong with them. Good friends with the founder. The only thing that's really changed, besides the fact that they wouldn't give us money for advertising anymore, but that was chiefly because their business model changed. They really wanted to focus on business as opposed to consumers.
Exactly.
And they made a lot, this is true, by the way. It happened to LastPass, too. They've just kind of rejiggered their business. It isn't unusual. Unfortunately, it happens to a lot of our advertisers where they realize, we're making more money by selling to businesses than we are to consumers. So we're just going to drop that consumer advertising. Yeah.
Correct. And I tried iDrive a few times.
And they're very much focused. They do have a business plan, but I think they are still focused on consumers, which is why I'm really happy to have them as a sponsor.
They are. They seem to be very compatible with
yeah. Yeah, I really like them. Yeah. Nice guys,
so
too.
I've got, two main office computers, and one is running Carbonite. Both are running iDrive. So I've got backups, and I've got, obviously, I'm OCD. I've got SSD drive.
You know what? This is one area where OCD is not a bad thing.
No.
Belt and suspenders. You don't want to lose data.
I've got stuff in my safe deposit box.
It's a nice, honestly, it may be overkill. You'll never know till something goes wrong, but it's just nice to not have to think about it. Like, I don't worry about losing data. And so that's really a nice feeling. If I were just relying on one way of backing up, I might not be so sanguine. If it's just external drives or just iDrive, I might not be so confident that I'm okay. But I have so many copies of everything, like you. I feel fairly sure that if anything were to go wrong, I'd be able to get it back.
Correct.
In fact, when we had these big wildfires up here a couple of years ago, and we were packing our go bags, it made me feel good to know, in days gone by, I might have been throwing the photo albums in there and stuff like that, but I know that everything I have is backed up in the cloud, so it's going to be okay. Fortunately, we did not have to leave the house, but it was something that I had to go through, a process I had to go through when we were packing those. Yeah.
It's reality.
Yeah, and it's terrifying. Yeah.
So I've got two computers, my main business computers, one running Windows 11 updated. The other is the backup running Windows 10. So Carbonite, I'm going to cancel after it's time to. Yeah,
you probably don't need both Carbonite and iDrive. I think that is belt and suspenders.
Well, I only because I've been with Carbonite for many years.
Sure.
And iDrive seems to be.
Well, I'll tell you one big difference. Carbonite is attached to that computer. You can't run it on multiple computers. You have to have an account for each computer.
That's correct. Yeah, iDrive I've got on
everywhere.
Computers.
Yeah.
So the second backup is, it's backing up, but it's not backing up the data from my main computer. So the question is, if it goes to hell, I can get all my data backed up from iDrive onto that Windows.
Yes.
10.
Yes.
machine.
You don't have to worry about where it came from. That's your data. It's in your iDrive account. You can restore it to anywhere.
Okay. All right.
That's the advantage. Carbonite would be a little different because each account is attached to a machine. So each machine could restore the data from that machine, but you'd have to you'd have to log out, then log into a new account, then download that, then log out and log into the new account, download that. So you could get all the data on one machine. It's nice, though, that with iDrive, it's one account for everything. That way, just log in once, download it all, and you're good.
Carbonite was great until they turned to the business.
Yeah, and I think they're probably still great. And as I said, I'm friends with the founder, so I'm not going to say anything bad about Carbonite at all.
Oh, okay.
No, I like them a lot, and I think that they were a great company. I was very glad to be doing business with them for a long time. And as often happens in this business, advertisers change. Doesn't mean you're cutting all ties with the previous guy.
No. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Carbonite. We did Carbonite ads for maybe a decade, for a long time. Yeah. But I have to say, iDrive and Remote PC, it's the same company. They've been very supportive. And, I really appreciate them because they've been supportive during COVID, where a lot of advertisers just said, we don't know what the future is going to hold. We're just going to stop advertising until this all shakes out. And so it's nice to have a company that says, we know consumers are still going to have to back up, maybe even more important during COVID. So,
correct. I've got one. Do you have time?
37 seconds.
DirecTV.
Yes, sir.
There was a guy that called in. I think he had.
Yeah, he had DirecTV. Yeah.
And cutting the cord. The secret is call the retention department.
Yes.
For TV.
Yes.
You've been there for a long time, which I've had DirecTV since. Well, I started listening to you in '94. You can get great deals.
That's a very good tip for almost any subscription service, your cell company, your cable company. Almost all of them have special customer service reps for people who are about to cut the cord, about to quit. The retention specialists often can give you some pretty good deals. In fact, I remember going into
$100 off.
Yeah. I remember going into my Comcast store because I really prefer to deal with these people face to face. It's hard to do it on the phone. And the Comcast store said, you should just come in here every year and check because we have incentive programs and they always expire after a year or two. So every year, just come in and say, what's new? What can you do for me? And we'll be glad to switch you to the new incentive program. And so you'll keep those savings. Their presumption is people just are never going to check and never going to update their account. So when in a year or two, and it varies, that incentive program expires and your price doubles, most people just go, oh, wow, that was a big increase and keep on paying. So that was good advice, actually. I appreciate that from the lady at the Comcast store. She said, come back in 11 months and 20 days. And we can talk about what we got next. Mike, pleasure talking to you. Thank you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I only want to be with you. Robert in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Hello, Robert.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome.
Hey, Leo, it's been so long. The last time I seen you was I'd watched the defrag on my computer.
That has been a long time. We haven't had a defrag in years.
Yeah, well, the late 90s, right? There's the television show.
That's right. That's right. We would say, everybody defrag now. Everybody defrag. We don't have to do that anymore. Yeah.
Hey, Leo, you're a good man. I've been listening to you for a while. I told my buddies, hey, guess who I heard on the radio?
Oh.
I'm a big A&M guy, so I'm that's Leo. So great.
Nice.
I got a question for you.
I like the A&M too, by the way. God bless it.
Well, let me tell you, Leo, you get in a room or a party, I'm probably one of the most well-read in my secret AM radio.
Yeah.
I've listened to more interviews from experts in every field.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, no, that's why I got into this way back when I was in college. There's something about radio, and I hope it survives this internet era. Thank goodness for podcasts. I was thinking about that. I got into podcast 15 years ago. Actually, longer than that now, 17 years ago. And who would have thought when I was starting in radio back in the 70s that someday, you wouldn't need a radio station. You just need the internet. You still have a microphone, but that's not changing. But it's pretty amazing. And it's really, what it's done is it means not only do you have AM now, but you've got all this wealth of information from podcasts. I think it's all to the good. I really do.
Yeah, I've got to get into it more. I lost all my eyesight about 3.5 years ago, so I'm kind of, gotten away from everything.
Yeah, you listen. But gosh, your ears are a really good way to get information into your head. They're right next to your brain. It's amazing. And so get into podcasts. I mean, I'm not to dismiss AM radio because it's fantastic. The thing about AM is live, it's local, it's right here, right now. But if there's something you're interested in, there's no topic in the world that isn't covered by a podcast of some sort. If you like listening, you're in luck.
My brain is overflowing.
Mine overflowed years ago. Stuff was sloshing out of it. It was terrible.
Well, I haven't gotten into JAWS on the computer and none of that. I've listened to it. I've been stressed lately, and that seems like a lot of stress. And one day I'll get back into it when I get somebody to sit next to me and help me out a little.
He's talking about the screen reader program that's used by most blind people, which makes it accessible because obviously you can't see the screen, but the reader will read you all the functions, the controls. It's a little, you know what, for somebody who's never used it or isn't used to it, it's a pain in the butt because it's reading all the menus, all the window names and stuff. But it's amazing because it really does open up a world to people without sight, and that makes a big difference.
When I had sight and I would use a computer, I didn't have a lot of sight, but I would use the magnifier on Windows. Right. And I remember my computer buddies would come over and they're up, down, they're looking up, get this thing off and driving me nuts. Well, hey, that's the only way I could see it, read it.
Hey, whatever it takes, But I'm glad that you listen. I'm really glad that you listen. It's we have a lot of blind listeners, and I think it's really a great resource. So I'm thrilled that you're listening.
Leo,
Thank you.
There's talking books for the blind. So I don't know if you've written any books or if you think there's anything.
You would not want to hear my books. I wrote about a dozen books back in the day, boring as heck, all about computers. I don't think, and the problem is it was back in the day, so nothing's the same. Every once in a while, I'll look at one of them and go, boy, is that dated.
I was in a special, I got picked to be in a little science project. This was 1971. We had a modem. We hooked it up and we called down. What was the computer? That was the internet for just the scientists or something.
Yeah. Wow. DARPANet. Yeah.
1971.
Yeah. That was the early days of the internet. It really was born in 1969. So you were one of the earliest users. Yeah.
And then in 1979, I went to this thing for the blind, and over in Western Michigan, Western College, and I met the guy. I believe he's blind, who invented the talking. You type and it talks. 1979.
Yeah.
And I remember I typed my name into it, and it pretty much said my name.
Isn't that awesome?
It wasn't bad. You could hear it.
And now, whether you're sighted or not, we're all talking to our computers, and they seem to understand.
Well, since we're going through topics, what bugs me is all these touch screens on appliances. How much more would it cost? This made it talk, right?
I think that's coming. Yeah.
What can it cost? 50 cents a board?
Well, Amazon licenses their Echo technology to a lot of people. You're seeing it in cars. You're seeing it in a lot of devices, including appliances. I think that's going to happen more and more.
I was looking at a thermostat. It was called the VIP. Well, I won't give the name. But anyways, you touch it. It's standalone. No Bluetooth. No, you touch it. The button says what it is, and you touch it. It tells you what you did. It was $180 3 years ago. Now it's $360. I'm just going to ask my neighbor to come set my thermostat.
Yikes! That's a little bit of a price increase. Wow.
Yeah, going up. You know what? I don't want to take all your time, but I want to take the question I had.
Oh, yeah, you better, because I'm running out of time here. What? I forgot. You called to ask something. Go ahead.
I got an iPhone 6S, and if I were to upgrade, would I get any better, use out of it being blind?
That's actually a great question. You're still getting the latest version of iOS. This is the last year you will, though. So I would wait. As long as your battery life and everything are okay. Next year, you're going to have to upgrade anyway because you won't be getting the latest iOS.
All right.
It's funny. Normally, iOS does improve accessibility every year, and so you would appreciate the new features. You probably see some, but you're getting almost all of them. I think you are getting all of them. Ironically, and no one has explained this yet, Apple took out some critical features from Siri, its voice assistant, in iOS 15. Features a lot of blind users use, like read my email to me. And this is inexplicable. Apple has not explained it. The blind community is up in arms over this. I can't remember a time when they took features out, but they've started doing that. So you might want to stick with that old phone, come to think of it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. As always, thank you, Professor Laura, for always playing great music, interesting music, never the obvious, right? Always something a little off because, well, you're a little off, but that's okay. We like it that way. Thank you, Professor Laura. Back to the phones we go. Robert's on the line. Oh, no, I talked to Robert. That was Robert from St. Clair Shores, yeah? Chris in Los Angeles is next. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris. How are you, Leo?
I am great. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
So, question first. Those two clocks that you have, the differential between them, is that your time delay?
No. So there's actually 3 clocks. If you watch our streaming video.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, we realize that there's nothing more boring than seeing some guy talking into a microphone. It's not exactly an action broadcast, but we do stream and make podcast video available. So we try to dress it up. And there's a lot of junk in the picture, including not 1, not 2, but 3 different clocks. The digital clock over my left shoulder is probably the one to pay attention to. That is one of those radio-controlled clocks. It gets the time from WWV. It should be pretty accurate. I put it in the window every night when I go home. I kid you not. It's like Mr. Rogers, puts his shoes on and takes off his cardigan when he goes home. I put my shoes on and I put the clock in the window to get the time. Then there is a Nixie tube clock, which I have mostly because of its kind of archival interest. Nixie tubes are giant tubes with numbers in them. It looks like it's almost like neon. This is horribly inaccurate. And worse, it's really hard to set. So don't pay any attention to the time on that clock. And then there's another one down here. You might not even notice it. This is not a Nixie tube clock. It's a fake Nixie tube. It's a LCD screens that kind of look like Nixie tubes. And that's pretty inaccurate too. So the only one, it's just because to make this an action shot. The clocks, that tells you how boring it is watching me do the show, that the clocks are the point of interest.
Yep.
Watching Leo do a radio show is like watching a clock tick.
Yeah, but all of your clocks are wrong. FYI.
What? Well, no, one of them's right. And that's this one. And if you do, by the way, that is a case. There will be a difference in that in actual time where you're watching, because for several reasons. Mostly because in order to stream video, you have to compress it, and there is a delay. Depending on where you're watching it. We stream to YouTube, Twitch, Ustream, and each of them has a different amount of delay depending on how fast their servers are, etc. So the compression is the difference. And yeah, so if you look at this, it's 1:36 7 seconds, and it's 1:36. Where you are, it's 1:36 30 seconds. That means there was 23 seconds of compression, and then it has to go out on the internet. So there's some delays. So you nailed it. That's exactly right, Chris. You figured it out. The secret.
So great segue to my question. So looking for a platform that you can stream to Facebook specifically, or YouTube for that matter, or both at the same time. I have a Mac Mini M1, that I use to run OBS on it as a multicam. So I have several Blackmagic boxes.
Oh, so you know all about this streaming thing then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the problem is the quality that I tried with Restream and some of the other applications. Once it gets to, if I stream directly on Facebook directly, it's in 1080 with 320 audio. Perfect. Awesome. The moment I use something else like Restream or some of the other applications, it just degrades the video quality and the audio quality. I did a bit of research about Restream where they bounce the signal to all of their servers. So the signal just keeps going back. Like if you're in New York, I'm in LA.
But there's more than that. So I would guess the number one issue is your upstream bandwidth.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
So if the system you're using, is it OBS Studio, you said, or is it something else?
Yeah, the Mac Mini is using OBS Studio.
If OBS Studio is streaming to Facebook and YouTube and at the same time...
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, it's not. The only thing OBS is doing is running my cameras. I'm taking HDMI out of my Mac Mini into my MacBook Pro i9, and then I stream with that computer.
Okay. So again, if you are sending one stream to multiple sources, a number of things is happening. First, that software, it may be making different versions of the stream, probably is, for each endpoint. And then it's using your bandwidth, which I know you say is ample. But is it really ample? Because remember, most of the time when you are quoted bandwidth by an internet service provider, they give you a big number and a little number. They may not even give you the little number. The big number is how fast downloads. But suddenly you are a broadcaster from your house. You are streaming, so it's the upload that matters. And that's usually a fraction of the download. So you want to look at that upstream. And remember, do a little math. For each high-def stream you want to send out, you're going to need 10 megabits, maybe 5 megabits. Depends. You'll have to do the math. Per stream. You're sending out 4 streams. You're sending out 4 times the bandwidth. It could very easily clog your upstream bandwidth. So the computer itself has to do more work. That could be slowing it down. You have a perfect single stream, but when you send multiple streams, it goes down in quality. It's likely, in fact, that that's due to your bandwidth and the work being done. Now, there are solutions, and you kind of intimated this, there are solutions out there that are much more expensive where you send a single stream and then it multicasts out from its servers. Then it's going to be that service's bandwidth and that service's hardware, how much hardware they put into it. And some of them are, designed for exactly this situation. Chances are, in most cases, there'll be a better, you'll get better results than you would if you were doing it out of the house. So you just have to think in terms of, what's really going on. And if you're trying to send multiple streams from the same computer over your same bandwidth, usually that's an issue at home. And then if you go out to a third party, you send a single stream to the third party, then it's going to be up to them to split your streams, devote the right amount of hardware. It's got to be encoded. That takes a lot of, I wouldn't be surprised if your i9 Mac is choking on the amount of encoding it has to do, right? So I understand you moved it off the main machine so that at least the game you're streaming has full CPU, and it's just putting out a little pipe out to that Mac. But the Mac now is the bottleneck. This is why it's complicated. And the thing that's amazing, really, if you think about it, is that we can do this at all. It's amazing. Here you are sitting at home, streaming a game, streaming your content, or I'm streaming a radio show, podcast, and we're able to stream it to everywhere in the world. And it started with just audio. And now you're streaming high-quality HD video to any computer in the world that wants to watch it. And here's the best part. It doesn't cost you a penny. If you told me that 10 years ago or 20 years ago when I was starting out in radio, if you told me, oh, yeah, pretty soon you won't need a transmitter. You won't need a tower. You won't need a boss. You don't need a big corporation backing you. You could do it from your house for free. And for some reason, Google and Facebook won't charge you for the bandwidth you're using. I would have said, you're crazy. You're nuts. That's not... Well, it is. And it's amazing. This week, YouTube announced 1 trillion hours of Minecraft videos watched. 1 trillion hours for free. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Dig it. It's Dickie D. He's a disco fool. Gizwiz.biz. It's the holiday Dickie D show. No Rockettes this year, but Dick is just kicking up his high-heeled shoes.
Absolutely. I'm making up for all 36 of them.
Wow. It's Christmas in New York City. Going to be a little different again this year, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to get through it. You probably don't go out much.
No, no.
You got all the gizmos and gadgets you need right there.
Here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dick joins us every week to give us the latest gizmo or gadget. That's why he's our gizmo wizard. What do you have this week for us, Dick?
Okay, so I have 2 holiday gift suggestions last minute.
Oh, good.
One of them we talked about like 6 weeks ago, but now there's a new version of it. And also, it made the Consumer Reports list of one of the best coffee makers of 2021.
Oh.
Okay. I talked about the Chefman Insta Coffee Max. Well, I went to check the price, and now there is an Insta Coffee Max Plus. All right. So, of course, I had to buy one, even though a month ago I bought the original one.
How many coffee makers do you own?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, next to my microphone, I have 6.
You can only drink 1 cup at a time, Dick. Unlike you, though, I have a bunch of different coffee makers under the counter.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
This is a K-Cup coffee maker?
Yes, it is. And it's fast, okay? This one starts brewing in 25 seconds, and you have the K-Cup done in about 96 seconds.
But so one of the things I worry about with K-Cups is the waste. It looks like you can kind of make your own K-Cups with this.
You know what? This is what's great about the new Max is it used to come with a tiny little filter for your own coffee grinds.
Okay.
That fit in where the K-Cup fit.
Okay.
The new one, the entire holder that holds the K-Cup comes out, and you can put in a big filter that holds 3.5 tablespoons of your own grind.
I like that because I like a stronger cup often.
Yeah, exactly. And you can then make 14 ounces of your own blend really fast.
No plastic waste, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. And so Leo, it's 39. I looked on Amazon today, and it still says lowest price in 30 days. It's $40, $39.99.
This is so. We use K-Cups at work because the worst thing in a business is that coffee pot that's been sitting on the burner since 4 a.m. and it smells terrible. It's awful coffee, and you throw it out. And I just think that's not a good. So K-Cups are great because they're single serving. Everyone makes a fresh cup, but I feel terrible about the waste. There's a lot of plastic you just going in the landfill. So this is a good solution. You could still use K-Cups.
Yes.
But you can also use ground coffee. And a lot of our staff prefers their own coffee anyway.
Yeah. This is a way to do it. And very inexpensive. Very inexpensive.
We just replaced our Keurig because it broke and we got a new one, but now I wish we'd gotten this. This is a good instant coffee Max Plus. This would be a good gift.
Max Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing was a friend of mine said, I was talking to him on Zoom, and every time he leaned forward, he vanished. And I said, you need a light for to clip on your monitor. And he said, well, I don't know what to get. So I searched around on Amazon. I found a neat kit for $24. Okay, so it's a very small. It's a 4.6 inch. A circle.
It's a ring light.
But
that's what all the kids use. All the TikTok.
Totally adjustable from 32K, 3200K to 6500K.
That's the color of the light, whether it's warm or
exactly.
daylight. Yeah.
And then within there are 5 illumination ranges of brightness.
How bright does it get? Because my experience sometimes of these is they're not very bright.
You know what? This one gets too bright for me. I just
Are you using it right now?
Yeah, I am.
It's pretty bright.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, can you powder your head? Because I'm getting a lot of glare.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
Okay, it is bright.
That was low. That was low.
You look like a ghost now. Okay.
Yeah. And the thing that I found is that I run it off a little external battery pack, and we do videos like up in Dennis's apartment, and when we need a light, it's real easy to use this as a backlight.
This looks like a good thing. And you can clip it on your laptop and just plug it into the laptop power supply.
Exactly, yeah, because it's USB powered, or use one of those little plugs. I'm just playing with the control here. Yeah, and $24 for it, so that's very reasonable.
And that's from the appropriately named Selfila. For the selfie in all of us. Selfila.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right. 2 good picks. Now, the best way to find these is just to go to Dick's website. I said he's our gizmo wizard. That's why his website is gizwiz, GIZWIZ.biz. Because, I don't know why, because you're in the biz of being a gizwiz. GIZWIZ.biz. And then click the button that says the gizwiz visits the tech guy. That ain't the only button. You can see gadgets he showed on ABC World News Now, does that every month. You can see Dick's blog and log, his Gizmos Ahoy, the GizWiz garbage, and Mad Collectibles and Match Game Collectibles, and also something just for all of us, the GizWiz What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine by identifying the most obvious gadget I've
ever done.
You've ever done. How many right answers do you have so far?
Oh, probably 70.
Because most people are smart now. They know, you're competing for 6 copies of Mad Magazine with the right answer. You're competing for 12 copies of Mad Magazine for the wrong answer. Don't answer right. Double your chances. Come up with a clever wrong answer. So knowing what it is not of value, probably.
No, especially this time. No, because there's just going to be a lottery to see which 6 people get it.
18 autographed copies of Mad Magazine, autographed by this guy right here, which makes them extra invaluable.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, I'm always proud to have this. Thank you. And you sent Micah one too, so he was really happy to get the autographed copy. And we don't even have to play the game. In fact, I don't think we're allowed to play the game. Certainly not this month.
Close relatives can play the game. I have no rules. Almost no rules.
There are no rules. It's not a lottery. It's just for fun. Dick, I hope are you going to do anything? You've got your Christmas tree, your famous LED lit Christmas tree up. Anything?
We're probably just going to do the pineapple upside down cake.
Nice.
And maybe at 2 in the morning we'll run by and see the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center when no one's around.
They haven't called off the gathering in Times Square, but that has to be imminent.
I think so. I mean, first of all, how do you check the ID and the cards from 1 million people?
Well, and I don't know why anybody would want to go, because you have to get there early, right? Just to get
you have to get there by 4.
And then they put you in a fenced pen that you can't leave till midnight.
Yes.
Now, I don't know about you.
No, till sometimes 2 in the morning.
Till 2.
Because they let people out slowly because they overwhelm the transit system.
So you're basically going to New Year's Eve jail. Yeah. I don't know why anybody does this, but they do. I have a feeling because of Omicron, and I know New York City is actually going through a big outbreak. The good news is it's not as dangerous because mostly everybody's vaccinated, but it's still a lot of people are getting sick. So I would think it would be prudent probably not to do this, and I suspect it will be Mayor de Blasio's last act.
I think so.
Forget about it.
I know. It's the new pee in your pants celebration.
Go home. Go home. Stay in New Jersey. We're not doing it this year. So, but I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And you'll be back as we will be January 8th. We'll see you then.
I will, yeah. Have a
Merry
super
Christmas.
holiday.
Happy New Year.
And it's great being your friend for another year.
I agree. It has been that long?
Okay, buddy.
Take care, Dickie D. That's it for me. I'll be back tomorrow. I hope you will too. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And if not, have a great holiday week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.